Hi, I'm Dr. Cate Shanahan, and this is my co-host and co-author, Luke Shanahan. We're here with another edition of Punch Through the Noise. Today, Luke and I are going to have a debate about whether or not anybody really cares about diabetes. My position is people with diabetes don't want to have diabetes. Luke's position is...
I don't think it's a big deal, and I think as a nation we're pretty much conceded to the idea that it ain't that bad.
So, we each get 2 minutes. Who goes first?
I'll go.
Okay, so I'm going to press start. Ready, set, go.
Okay, for many years we've been working on improving people's diets to improve all aspects of metabolic health, including diabetes. I have to say, in all that time, I have yet to meet a single person who says, I'm ready to do the radical move of changing my diet for the better based on the principles described in this book and elsewhere on your website in order to reverse diabetes. Now, I know you've had patients who have been willing to do that. I get that. I have not had the pleasure of meeting one. I believe you. But I don't understand. If you have diabetes, you simply make minor changes to your diet. You get rid of bad oils. You shift around your carbs a little bit. You reverse diabetes. Why wouldn't these people be out screaming from the rooftops, diabetes is a scam? The American Diabetes Association, which says explicitly that there's no magic single diet for diabetes, whatever that means, presumably one that will successfully reverse your blood sugar levels, normalize them. That's obviously a lie. I think that everyone knows it's a lie. I think that we give, as a nation, we give the ADA and other institutions billions of dollars for a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, basically lip service or window dressing to give us permission to march right along with the everything in moderation motto, not make any significant changes. We like our foods to be convenient. We want them to be cheap. We want to be able to get them at whatever restaurant without giving a whole lot of thought to it, as long as you avoid gluten or whatever the latest fad is. But basically, if diabetes is bad, I don't think as a nation or even as individuals, many people think it's so bad that it's willing to make even moderate changes to your diet. So say I.
Okay, well, great. You have 2 seconds to spare. Well said. All right. So now we're going to reset. Cancel. Wait.
Wow, that's
Dude, how do you turn it off? Okay. All right. So we're going to reset.
What a great app that is.
And off we go. So my position is that people, when they find out that they can reverse their diabetes, they want to reverse their diabetes. Now, at any given moment in time, not 100% of them are ready to make the necessary changes. But so we have disagreement on whether or not that matters. I think the point being is that when people find the barriers to many people making changes are the real problem, not people's attitudes. And the barriers include conflicting expert positions about whether or not diabetes was reversible, conflicting ideas about what is a healthy diet, particularly centering around fats and saturated fat, whether it's healthy, unhealthy, and animal products in general, whether they're healthy or unhealthy. Those conflicting ideas prevent people from feeling they're confident enough to move forward and get started. Especially when their personal physician is telling them something that they personally don't believe makes any sense. Bad fats are hard to avoid, and if you know anything about me, you know that I believe vegetable oils are the cause of diabetes, but 80% of the average American's fat calories comes from these things, and they don't even know it, so they're really hard to avoid. Bad fats drive sugar dependence. They drive you to crave sugar, and sugar is everywhere. So these structural things are built into the way we live, and we are in an environment that causes diabetes. I think that's a problem. Finally, when even those people who don't love the idea of having diabetes and want to treat it with drugs, they are doing so without being told that these drugs have harms. The drugs have undisclosed harms that the doctors don't bother going into, or maybe even don't understand themselves. And so when empowered with the right information, my belief is that a huge portion of the population would make big changes to their diet and choose to reverse their diabetes. So that translates to about 10% at any given time in practice, which definitely is a minority, but an important minority. Okay. Cancel.
10%, you say?
So wait, how much time do we have for the rebuttal?
1 minute.
And you go, and then I don't talk, right?
No, and then you have 1 minute also.
Okay. Oh wait, let's change it to 1 minute. Ready, set,
10%, you say?
yes?
That's impressive. I think you're making my point, Dr. Shanahan. 10% is hardly impressive, and even if you were right that it was a full 10%, out of 400 million people in this country, that equates to something like 40 million people who, if your experience is in any way representative, are ready and willing to take on diabetes using diet. The information's out there. Our book is out there. Other books, Gary Taubes, Mark Sisson, many others have written extensively on the topic. Everybody who has access to the internet, including your doctor, presumably, knows that the ADA is lying when they say you can't easily reverse diabetes using diet. This is common knowledge if you want to go get it. Now, as far as like conflicting information, I'm not buying that for a second. You judge information the way you judge any other information, where it's coming from. You look at the source, you look at their degrees, their experience, how much they make sense, and how honest they seem, and you follow that person. If you can't judge one person's character versus another, you shouldn't be in the information judging business. It's your fault.
Okay, well stated once again. So, so my rebuttal is that it's extremely difficult to ask a patient, it's impossible for a patient who is busy working to be asked to not only judge whether or not their doctor's telling them the truth, then to figure out for themselves all the conflicting science between saturated fat, polyunsaturated fat, so on and so forth. The vegans that are very vocal, that are insisting that saturated fat is a problem, and basically, you know, for whatever reasons, they have their own reasons, but they are incorrect. And that strongly, heavily influences the whole conversation, is confusing people. And it's difficult, and especially because in our environment where we don't have the choice of hardly anything in many grocery stores that are actually made with butter, and people don't know to look for it. People going out to restaurants don't know that they're being fed vegetable oil. It's very difficult to take all that on as an individual, and a doctor's job is to support that individual in that with those difficulties.
30-second wrap-ups.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yes. Okay.
Right.
You first, I guess.
Here we go. All right. Quick wrap-up. We've heard Dr. Cate's argument that that ignorance is begetting what appears to be complacency. I say it's the other way around. You've got it exactly backwards, doctor. It is complacency where we have no interest in seeking out the easily attainable information about the vegetable oils that bring diabetes in your body, about how the foods are made to be cheap and affordable and readily convenient. We don't want that information because it will disrupt what we want to do, which is basically say everything in moderation and just get on with it. And when we do get diabetes, which we're going to just pretend is inevitable, we'll take our drugs and we'll be fine. We're ignorant because we're complacent, not the other way around.
So my position is that the ignorance and the feeling of being overwhelmed is the problem. And if we have strong leadership and we ask ourselves, what makes intuitive sense? Should we trust nature and the way things have always been done and the way farming has always been, or should we trust pharmaceutical companies and the doctors who are mouthpieces? And if we can pass that barrier, then we'll see many more people actually being able to get rid of their diabetes.
Well, I trust the marketplace to decide. The way I say that the marketplace right now says people are pretty much okay with diabetes because that's how they behave. Let's let the marketplace out in YouTube decide, right?
Yes, so please comment. If you have diabetes and you don't like it and you're willing to change, make those comments. If you've done it and you've already made a change, please tell Luke.
Prove me wrong. And please tell me, if you've done it and it worked for you, isn't that a big deal? And if it is, aren't you telling everybody? I would.
I bet they are.
Okay. Maybe you're right. We'll see if I'm wrong. Prove Cate right, prove me wrong.
Until next time, we're going to keep trying to punch through the noise.
Oh, yeah.